Hey guys, what is going on? This is Panther Dragon, and today I want to tell you guys a story of how I got 3 accounts to not Challenger, but 1,000 LP. That's right, all 3 of my accounts have reached 1,000 LP at some point, and you guys are probably wondering, how in the hell did Panther Dragon get 3 accounts to 1,000 LP? That's right, even I didn't think it was possible. Even I thought, just getting 1,000 LP was hard. I was like, wait, what the hell? But apparently, without me even trying to go for 3 accounts to 1,000 LP, and even at some point in time, all 3 of my accounts were touching tips. So let's tell you guys the story of how I got 1,000 LP on 3 accounts. So first off, let's explain what happened to Panther Dragon. At one point, Panther Dragon was 1,000 LP, and then it was 700, but then it got back up to 1,051, and then eventually it decayed to Masters, and now I kind of play for fun on it, which kind of is a bad mindset, but sometimes you gotta for fun, because some games on your main account are crappy. On Panther only, it was my highest account to get during this season, and in the first month it started from 752 going up to 995 all the way to getting to 1207, reaching a peak elo of 1270 LP, but then we had a mental breakdown and dropped all the way to 900. Eventually we climbed it back to 974, then to 993, and eventually we hit 1174 LP. I think you could say this account made a wild ride over the past few months. Now this is currently my highest ranking account, although I had never predicted that this account would be my highest ranking account. Currently, the mindset I had on it was one of the weirdest things that I've ever had. I wanted Panther only or Panther Dragon to actually be the highest account. Unfortunately, it just didn't go my way. But this account was actually starting to go my way. So this account went from 702 to 778 to 871 to 869 to 888. Wait, sorry, that's a 6. 847. You get the idea. It's hard stuck 800 LP. Eventually, it's actually going to 900 LP. And in 1 week, I actually got to 1154. And then I peaked at 1261. And I lost 10 LP in the end. Or that's a 9. My bad. I'm sorry. Asians can't do math. And remind you, this was my for fun account. I didn't care about this account at all initially, but now it's one of my highest ranking accounts. And yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is what the hell actually happened with all 3 of these accounts. So first off, let's start off with Panther Dragon. So what did this account mainly play? Well, funny enough, this is the last account I started to climb because it's my main, right? So I left it as the main account at the beginning of the season to rank up the latest. And now you guys know how that ended. It's my lowest ranking account. Funny enough, but what champions did this account mainly play? Well, if we look down on it, the most played champion was Fiddlesticks with a 58% win rate with 16 net wins. Fiddlesticks was a pretty OP champion after they gave it a little buff after it was released when they reworked it. The Fiddlesticks rework was pretty much a broken champion when they hotfixed him, because honestly no one knew what the new Fiddlesticks did. So everyone kind of forgot, you know, if Fiddlesticks was hiding behind a wall, he can kill you with his Crowstorm, right? So no one respected him. Everyone would just die to him. People had forgotten of the old Crowstorm where it would one-shot you if you got hit by it. And honestly, maybe the old Fiddlesticks was OP, but this one offers so much more CC and definitely a better clear than the old one. And after a while, people started getting smart. That's why my win rate kind of slopped down. You'll see on the other accounts. So I think at one point I had like 65% win rate, 70, I'm not too sure. But the thing is, people started getting cleansed, you know, taking it on Ezreal. People were playing Ezreal, and if they had a Yuumi, they would just buy Mikhail's, and the champion all of a sudden was an OP, and people started remembering that you had to ward over Fog of War to see potential spots where Fiddlesticks would ult, otherwise you might die. And it was just harder to play Fiddlesticks into challenger players who smartened up after the first week where Fiddlesticks, you know, was considered OP. They didn't even nerf him, they just nerfed his laning phase where he would drain a bunch of hit point from minions and you couldn't essentially lane against him because all your harass would just be healed up. So essentially now people have learned how to play against Fiddlesticks, and he kind of wasn't an OP pick anymore just because people got smart or people smartened up. No nerfs really happened, it's just, yeah, people figured out how to play against him. Don't walk into walls that he might be behind. The next champion I played was Elise. So this is around the meta where you would do 3 camps and then spam gank. It didn't matter because catch-up XP was so OP. So if you farmed your camps, you were doing something wrong. If you're fighting the enemy, killing them, or just diving someone and completely getting a kill out of it, you were winning. Therefore, if you're playing Elise, just spam ganking, killing everyone on repeat, you were winning the game. I could be 12 CS, the enemy could be 40 CS, but if I had 2 kills, to be honest, I'd be like 72 CS over him, essentially. But now they obviously nerfed it, it's not as powerful, so you gotta balance out the farming as well as the ganking. I mean, obviously, if a kill is right there in front of your face, go for it. But if it kind of screws up your path and say, you know, you just did 3 camps top side and then the enemy gets your full bot side and you can't do anything while trying to kill someone top side, maybe you get it off. But if it doesn't, you're severely punished, and yeah, before you could be level 3, you know, the enemy jungler could be like level 6 something. If you got a kill, you'd probably be level 5. But now, it's not like that anymore. I'm not even sure how the catch-up XP works, but you'd probably be like level 4 or something. I don't know. It used to be super huge. So after that, Elise kind of fell out of the meta, and not a lot of people use her, unless you're a Giga Smurf on her. The next champion on his list was Wukong. Ooh. Wukong was a champion. Well, everyone knows what happened on the release, right? Double knockup, broken as hell. Yep, best champion ever. Harambe on Twitter asking for buffs, and yeah, this champion was so OP. He could be played ADC, jungle, top, mid. It didn't matter. I remember playing it everywhere, but yeah, I don't play at jungle anymore because it's not as OP. It's kind of like a top laner and good into a lot of AD, you know? Armor, stone skin, awesome. Best champion ever, Conqueror, OP. Fortunately for everyone, this champion started to stop getting a permaban because he received some nerfs. So, you know, Wukong was kind of looking like, it was kind of looking like a champion who finally could be picked in certain situations. And not every goddamn day. No, not every goddamn champion select. After this was a bunch of random champs that, you know, suddenly came up or suddenly was whatever. It wasn't consistent, so we're going to be going on to Panscarin only. These stats get more interesting because this is the highest peak account that I got to 1270 LP. Just kidding, it's the same thing. Or is it? This is where I went through the phase of going through Sona top lane. Oh, guys remember that? That was a fun time. I remember that. That was really fun. You would AFK in lane, eventually just go roam and do something else, and then win the game. It was awesome. This champion was broken. I don't know. Such a fun meta for me. You don't even have to CS top lane. You just run bottom, run mid lane, start roaming. You were just soloing Sona at that point, and we all know what happens when a Sona gets items, gets levels. She becomes God. So, yeah. But obviously that all came to a change when they nerfed Sona's E movement speed from, oh yeah, that's right, they also buffed it to like 20% movement speed, then they nerfed it to 10%, but then they're like, that's not good enough, let's nerf some more base stats, and then yeah, it became a big poop show, and eventually they just had to nerf the Spell Thieves item, where now you needed a laning partner, and don't get me started, that developed the Sona Lux bot lane. Yep, that was fun. I never used that though. Well, sometimes I did. We might talk about that later. But yeah, several nerfs, and eventually she could never be played top lane again. Well, you could, but you'd be griefing. Or maybe you might not be. After that came a bunch of random champions that I just played, I guess. You know, it was again inconsistent and not really too consistent, but it's whatever. I gave up on those champs. But then, eventually came Panther Facebook. And the only account this season that actually got me the rank 1 jungler, and the one champion that got me 300 elo in one day. That's right, that champion has no other name, well actually 2 names, but has no other 2 names other than Nunu and William Hartman. This champion is so good. It is so stupid how good this champion can be. It's like a tank, but then it has phase. Dude, it's a phase rush tank, and what better way to be the best tank in the world when you can go in, get out, eat a minion, and then go back in with your stupid snowball, and then throw your little piss snowballs at them and piss them off, and eat a minion. Like, what other tank does that? Does Set do that? Nope. Volibear does a ton of damage, but you know, Nunu does kind of a lot of... You know what? Let me show you guys this. Nunu's level 3 ganks does about... Oh my god, you should see the stats on this. It's actually insane. I never knew this until I looked into it. But what other champion can do like 500 to 700 damage with his full combo at level 3 with just abilities? I mean, his AP ratios are actually insane. You can't build AP on Nunu because it kind of sucks, but you know, he also has health ratios, so yeah, if you just go down the list, let's look at it. His W does 180 damage at level 1 while having a 1.5 AP ratio. Oh, and is also a gap closer, as well as stunning them for 1.25 seconds. What other ability can do this at level 1? If we look at his Q, it's even weirder. So his Q has a 1.35 AP ratio if you Q something that's not a champion and you're below 50% health. Then the champion damage is just 0.65, which isn't that bad for an AP ratio on a tank. Of course, this also gives you objective control because of your 980 true damage. And then on your E, if you hit all of your abilities, you're gonna do 164 damage, everything. Yeah, those little snowballs that you throw actually does 144 damage if you hit all 9 of them. It's really weird, I never knew that either. So your damage when you gank someone and you land every ability does about 400 damage without AP ratios, without including auto attacks, and of course without including your ultimate, which even has more AP ratios than I've ever imagined. Also have a complete Nunu folder of gameplay, so if you guys ever want it, this vast amount of Nunu gameplay, all you have to do is comment below or message me and tweet at me, whatever you want, and I will give it to you. Unfortunately, you can't really build AP on Nunu unless you're going Majai's. That's like the only thing you can build, because you still need to be a frontline for your team, and if you're just going to tank everyone in the fight, like, you're pretty squishy being a melee champion. But to be honest, his AP ratios are pretty godlike if I do say so myself. So, Majai's, if you get fed on Nunu, that's like the way to go. Also, if you guys don't know, when you use your W and you get movement speed buffs, you know, crab, water walking, home guard, you keep the movement speed and you accelerate really fast with your snowball. So yeah, it's really good. Also, if you die and trade 1-for-1 with the enemy jungler, you have your snowball to get you back on the map. It's so funny. But yeah, this champion is so good. You can you can gank every lane that goes over the river. And let's be honest here, diamonds everywhere, like all those lanes, they're so gankable, they're just gonna die. And Challenger, it's a little bit hard. Some people play safe if they know where you are. Some people also know about the level 2 gank cheese, which is very powerful because you give your teammates 20% attack speed as well as 10% movement speed, and yeah, your W also does a ton of damage while CCing them and being a gap closer itself. The champion may be the most brain dead champion in the game, but to be honest, it's also really effective to play. it buffs your teammates, it helps your teammates get, you know, ahead. And in Challenger, when your players aren't dumb, they know what to do when they have a lead. So if you just accelerate the process of getting your lanes ahead by just spam ganking them with Nunu, you're gonna win the game in about 15 minutes. The only problem with Nunu is obviously he is kind of weaker than most junglers and can't really 1v1 most unless he's ahead. He doesn't really bring any damage after his combo, so he has to kind of wait on his cooldowns, and he just sits there doing nothing but tanking. Especially with Phase Rush though, he's the most annoying jungler in the game. If you try and focus him, he just Phase Rushes out, and he Qs a minion and comes back. So if you're looking for a tank who wants to be everywhere on the map while helping your lanes and just frontlining for your team, Nunu is probably the best champion out there. Sure, he might be a little squishier because he doesn't have Aftershock, and he's going to rely on items to be tanky, but it's fine as long as you soak enough damage to go Q creep and come back in the fight. It's awesome. Anyways, with that being said, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys learned a lot. You can see, essentially, I just played a lot of meta champions. I wasn't bad at them, I wasn't perfect, but I'm not a stupid player, so essentially if I get a lead somehow, the game is probably over. Because I know what to do with my leads. I don't throw them too much unless I'm tilted or mentally gapped, and that can happen sometimes if I'm, you know, not having a good day. But other than that, you know, sometimes I play to have fun, screw around. Sometimes I would actually queue up only to piss off the enemy because I love griefing, and you know, you can't grief your teammates because you'll get banned. But if you can grief the enemy, then surely you're gonna probably get some elo because they're mental, especially if you're playing Nunu and camping their lane and making them own 3 by 3 minutes. Well, you've already done your job and you've probably won the mental game. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want, you can check out my socials that'll be popping up right in the bottom left corner. And thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.